Welcome back to my channel. So mates, today I'll be showing us how to make an elegant ball gown with tulle using the flounce method. My name is Ajulam. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first time of coming across my channel, you're welcome. Please subscribe and click on the notification bell to stay updated on my upcoming videos. So let's get started. Alright, these are the materials that I'll be using for this tutorial, and as you can see, I'm working with three different colors. So I'll be using these three colors to create a very unique outfit. Okay, if you want, you can just use a plain net. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be doing now is to mark out a half circle. So I'll keep this aside and grab my satin. Alright, so here I have my satin already in a triangle form. Okay, like I said earlier, first thing to do is to mark out a half circle. Now when it comes to a flounce tulle dress, there are so many types of flounce tulle dress. We have the ball gown flounce tulle dress, which is the one that I'll be showing us today. We also have the fit and flare tulle dress, the off shoulder, the high low, the mermaid, and of course the T-length flounce tulle dress. There are other ones also. So I'll start by marking out the waist measurement on this part. So I am cutting out this first one is the one that I'll be creating my layers on. Okay, remember that I said if you don't want to add hard net, you can just create layers on your satin. That way you have a very fluffy dress. So I'll be creating my layers on this particular one, but then I'll be cutting another half circle on my net. That is where I'll be creating the flounce. So I'll just take this one at a time. So this is going to be where I'll be sewing in my layers of net. So I'll just use the waist measurement. I'm going to use the waist measurement and then divide by 3.14, which is the formula for a half circle. So I'll just quickly do that here. So for this dress, is going to be for a 6-month-old. All you need to do is to work with your own measurement but follow the same process. So this one, the waist measurement is 20 inches divided by 3.14. I'll have 6.3, which is here. So I'm going to mark this all the way around, and I will repeat the same on my tulle or my net. Remember I said that I'll be cutting out another one which I'm going to use to create the flounce. This one here is just to create my layers. So this is just like the base of your work, so that by the time you finish, you're going to have a very fluffy ball gown. You can see that I have my half circle cut out. So this part that is open is the zipper side. This is the zipper side, and this other side is your center front. So what I'm going to do now is to fold this in. I want to get the midpoint here, and of course the midpoint on this back side as well. So to get this front side midpoint, I'll just fold this to come to this center, the side line, just to get the center point on that front. Okay, so this is the center. So this is the center now. This is the center front, and this is the line. That is, just fold it into two to get the midpoint from the center point to the side line. I'm doing the same on this back side as well. Okay, so after doing that, I'll just open it up. We're going to start the first marking. So I'm going to name this center front so that we don't get confused. So this is the center front. Okay, and now this is the midpoint of this center front, and then when you come to the back side as well, this is the midpoint. Okay, let me fold it again. You can notch that point so that you don't get confused. Okay, so this is the center front. Let me just notch, and then I'll notch this other one as well. This way you don't get confused. So I'll just open it up now. Okay, so now this is what we're working with. So I will start from this side, this other side. You can either choose to start from this side or this other side. That is to create your flounce. You can decide where to start from. So I am starting from this point. So I'll just come down. You decide how many inches to use for your flounce. So I'll just come down by 2.5. Okay, if you want, you can also use 2 inches. It all depends on the volume you want to have after sewing in your ruffles. Okay, so I'll come here again and mark 2.5. Okay, so now for this point you can also mark, but at the end of the day it is not that important. So this is just like a guide. So what I'm going to do now is to connect from this point and let it meet up to this part, and then take it backward to meet up to this point here. Okay, you need to take your time so you understand this part. It is very easy. Now you can see what I have there. Okay, now you can also decide to play with this. You can start from center front or anywhere. Just make sure that at the end of the day you have a dress, a flounce looking kind of dress. So this is the first one. So I'll go ahead, and since I am using 2.5 inches, I'll make use of the same. So I'll just mark again 2.5, and then follow the line and mark until I'll just keep on connecting it that way. So this is it. So I'll just mark 2.5, and then I'll follow the line. Just follow the line and mark. So this is how we're going to be sewing in the ruffles. Okay, so I'm marking it that way. Okay, you keep on marking 2.5 and until you get to wherever the 2.5 will end on this zipper side, and then you also connect. At the end of the day we're going to be sewing it one after the other, so I'll just keep on going that way. I'll come again and mark 2.5. Okay, I'll just take it that way, following the next line. Now you can see the way I am taking it. So I'm going to repeat this until I will exhaust all I have. Okay, so when you're done with this, whatever you have left, all you need to do is to use the same inches and continue until your dress is fully covered with the two. Okay, so I'm connecting. Okay, so I'll keep on going that way. 2.5. Alright, so now you can see that I am using 2.5 inches. Okay, that is the distance, whether from the vertical or the horizontal side. I am using the same 2.5 inches. So you need to cut out on your tool. You need to have more than that, so that at the end of the day none of your sewing or the rough side of your net should be visible. So since I am using 2.5, I can decide to cut out each of my 5 inches. So by the time you join, the excess will cover up the next line so that it will not be showing. Alright, I'll also show you that so you understand better. So now I'll just quickly finish up the marking and then show you how to mark out the rest of the parts that is going to remain. So this is where we are. As you can see, after marking this line, now there's no other. What I have left here is now up to 2.5. So all you need to do is to continue that way. You can see I just did that. Keep on marking wherever you reach, and there's no more space for the 2.5. You end it there. So just continue going, but remember to remove your zipper allowance. This is very important. Before you start your markings, make sure to remove your zipper allowance. Okay, that way you will not make any mistake, because at the end of the day your net is not supposed to get to the zipper allowance space. Okay, so just mark that out. I'm going to do the same. I am just using this paper to show you what I'll do at the end of the day. Now you can see that on this end I don't have up to 2.5. So all I'm going to do is to keep on moving my tape to wherever I'll have 2.5. You can see that from here I have 2.5. I'll keep on going that way. Like I said earlier, just work with your own measurement or follow the same process. So just keep on marking And now on this end, this is where the 2.5 ends, just here. So I'll just connect it from there. This is how we're going to be sewing the net on the lines. So we'll just cut that one at a time, and the sewing is also the same way. I'll keep on going. I'll come again and check where I'll have my 2.5, which is on this point here. I'll just keep on going that way. So you're going to repeat this until you don't have any space again. Okay, now for this first layer here, now there's a little secret of how we normally do this first layer. Okay, the same apply to this first one here. All right, now the reason is that we don't want the net to exceed the length of the skirt. Okay, now like I said, I'll be using 5 inches I'll be cutting out 5 inches on my net. If you put the 5 inches here, for instance here, you will see that you're going to have a very long skirt. It's going to exceed the initial skirt length that you're working with. Before I'll show us how to do that, I would like to let us know that our online classes are on. If you are interested in any of them, kindly send me a WhatsApp message on the number that I'll be dropping in the description box to know more details about the classes. Okay, like I was saying, I will just take it one at a time. I'm going to transfer this now. I'm going to transfer this on my net, and then I'll come back to show us how to stitch in the layers of your net. Alright, so just stay with me. Let me just quickly finish this part first. Here I just transferred my markings on my net. Like I said earlier, you're going to be cutting out a half circle on your net. This is where we are going to be sewing in all the flounce on this. So I'll keep this aside. Now this is how you're going to be cutting your net, and this is where the little trick comes in. So for this, if you have enough net, and if you want it to be very fluffy, you can use the full circle instead of the half circle that I'm using. So it's up to you. So now, like I was saying, the first thing to do is to start from the smallest part. Okay, from this smallest part, you're going to know how to sew in the rest of the flounce. Okay, now this is the smallest flounce that I have. That is the smallest part of this marking. It is this point here. So remember I said earlier I'll be using 5 inches. So for this first layer, I will not be doing that because I want to maintain the same length that I have on the skirt. For instance, now if I want to use 5 inches, now I will just sew in this way. You can see that after stitching it on the first line, you're going to be having a very long skirt, which is not what you want to achieve. So what I'm going to do is to minus 1. If you're using 2.5 inch different as I'm using here, all you need to do is just add 1.5 inches to that, making it 4 inches. So I'll just be using 4 inches on my net. And this is how you're going to be sewing it after cutting it out. So this is where the main trick comes in. Alright, like I was saying, I'll be cutting out 4 inches now on my net, and then you can decide to double it or even triple it depending on the volume you want to achieve. So this is the first line. This is how you're going to be sewing it on the lines. Okay, so now you're going to place the first one 4 inches. You can see that this point, when you place it here, you will have the exact length that you want to achieve. So all you need to do is to keep on moving your net. That is after gathering it, to just keep on moving it. I am marking the way now you're going to be sewing it in on your net. That is the half circle that you just cut out. You can see I am maintaining the 4 inches so that I will not exceed the length of the skirt. Okay, so this is where it ends because I don't want it to touch the next line. So this is where it ends. So this is how I'll be stitching in the first ruffle. It's going to start from here and end from here. You can see that this line is no longer needed. This is just as a guide for you to know how to go about making this dress. So you're going to place your tape again. Okay, for the second layer now. This is the first layer, so we are now working for the second line. So after gathering your ruffles as well, remember I will be using 4 inches all through. After gathering it, this is how you're going to be sewing it in. That is why I'm using a different color of marker, so you understand better. So now this is the way I'm placing it. Now you can see I am just taking my 1/2 inch there for the sewing, that is the gathering allowance, and by the time you place it this way, you can see that your 4 inches will also cover up this line. Let me just mark, this is half. From this point to this point is just 1/2 inch, and this is where your 4 inches will be. So you're going to follow it that way. You can see the way I am placing it, because I want my second tool to be 1 inch longer than this. That is why it is very important to sew the first one before sewing the next line, because after sewing the first one, you're going to know how to place the second one, so it will give you what you really want. I think that is what I'm going to do, so you understand better. I will just cut and then stitch this particular one to this point, and then I'll bring the second one and show you how to place it. So this is how we'll just continue until we finish up all this. So for these 2 lines, I'll just use this blue, the second one I'll use yellow, the third one I'll use pink, and then the last 2 I'll just use blue as well. So let me just quickly sew in the first layer and come back. After sewing the first one, this is what I have. You can see that I am maintaining the length of the skirt. So now over to this next line. This is it. Now, like I said earlier, all you need to do is to make sure that after sewing in the layers, you will maintain the same length of your skirt. All right, so now this is the next layer. You can see I just did this first one, which I did like this. Now this is the second one. This is very easy. All you need to do is to place this like this, okay, and take it up a bit when you get to this end, so that at the end of the day you're going to be having a matching length. Now let me place it on this, so you see what I'm saying. You're going to place it this way, okay, on your marking, and then you're going to stitch. After stitching, you will see that you will maintain the same length of the skirt. So I'll continue that way until I finish all the lines that I marked. Then I'll place it on the layered one, which I did earlier, so that the dress will have a lot of volume. So all you need to do is just to take your time. This is very easy. Once you place your net, you check the length of your skirt. You're just going to continue that way and end it anywhere. To make it easy for you, you can also notch all these points. This way you're going to know where your net should start or end on this other side, so that you don't make any mistake. So like I just said, now I'll quickly join this and the rest, and then show you the final look of this. After sewing on my ruffles, this is what I have. You can see that I already have a very beautiful skirt here. So this is the back side. You can see I'm not adding any satin or hard net, and it's already looking fluffy. So this is what the inside looks like, and you can see that on this waist side, this is how you're going to straighten it up when you want to join the bodice to this part. All right, so all you need to do is to watch out for my next video, where I'll be showing you how to make a pleated bodice and then how to join your bodice to this and how to do your final finishing for this dress. So that is it for today. Please subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in my next one.